Hi, my name is Melinda Beatty, and I'm a children's author as well as an independent bookseller. And I just wanted to take a moment today to talk to you about why I'm voting for Kamala Harris for president. The right in the United States has made it very clear over the past 10 years or so that they don't have any time for democratic principles. They'd rather have us ruled by a small minority whose values don't align with the majority of Americans. These attacks on our freedom seem to be endless, coming at us from every angle. But if there's one piece of advice that's been helpful to me through all of this, it's that we should try to focus on the one area in which we can personally affect change. And for me, that's been the defense of libraries and librarians against book bans. Book bans are kind of the right in a microcosm. It's a tiny group of individuals trying to force their beliefs on a wider public. Let me give you an example from where I live. In 2022, our local county school system received 35 book challenges, and this was a truly unprecedented number, both for this school system and for school systems and public libraries around the country, thanks to campaigns spearheaded by groups like Mom for Liberty, Citizens Defending Freedom, and Parents' Rights in Education. The irony being these folks are much more interested in curtailing liberty, freedom, and parents' rights. According to PEN America's 2023 report, 81% of all the school districts in the U.S. that have enacted book bans are in or adjacent to a county where there is an active chapter of at least one of these groups. So our local county formed a review committee made up of teachers, librarians, students, and community members with certain legal expertise, 59 people in all, to review each challenged book. The titles in question are what you'd expect. They're memoirs by members of the LGBTQ community and people of color, informative nonfiction regarding normal changes to teenage bodies, challenging fictions on the danger of drug use, and then just for fun, the perennial book banning favorites, Slaughterhouse-Five by the famous anti-war novelist Kurt Vonnegut, and the book that generations have passed to each other under desks forever by Judy Blume, which has done nothing to corrupt youth, but everything to ensure that you rarely ever meet anyone called Ralph these days. Gen X, if you know, you know. This process took over a year to complete, and in the end, 34 of 35 books remained on school shelves. But here's the most sinister fact of the entire situation. These 35 challenges were made by just 3 community members, all of whom are well known for their persistent, unsuccessful campaigns for school board. Just 3 people who admitted during the hearing not to have read any of the challenge titles took up a year of 59 other people's time that could have been used for leisure or family or other good works. And this is the strategy of the right as a whole. Tie as many of us as possible up in knots trying to defend freedoms that we've always taken for granted. Libraries and librarians all over the U.S. have faced threats of violence over book bans. It's scary and dispiriting, since these hardworking folks don't just act as reading stewards, but as career counselors, resource coordinators for the unhoused, public relations managers, and sometimes even security guards. But luckily last year, the Biden-Harris administration announced the appointment of a coordinator at the Department of Education who will work to provide new trainings for schools nationwide on how book bans create a hostile school environment and may violate federal civil rights laws. In a statement by the administration, they declare, book banning erodes our democracy, removes vital resources for student learning, and can contribute to the stigma and isolation that LGBTQI+ people and other communities face. At the American Federation of Teachers Conference in July, Kamala Harris said, book bans in the year of our Lord 2024, just think about it. We want to ban assault weapons, and they want to ban books. Can you imagine? Sadly, we can. At the end of the day, it comes down to this. Books teach empathy, and empathy is the enemy of fundamentalism and fascism. It's harder to make someone believe they should be afraid of their queer neighbors, their black and brown neighbors, or their migrant neighbors when we understand and empathize with one another, realizing that many human experiences are universal and that we all have more in common than we think. When kids read, they can not only explore tough topics safely, but they can grow up to be the kind of people that we want on our school boards, in our state houses, and even in the White House. Let our kids read. Vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz this November.